Hello beautiful people, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, you're very much welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always coming back, for always clicking on my videos. I really appreciate you. So in today's video, I'll be teaching you how to cut and also how to sew this beautiful crop top t-shirt. So if this is something you are interested in, please like, comment, subscribe, share, and let's get started. Welcome back guys. So the first thing we'll be doing is to draft our pattern. We are cutting a stretchy fabric, so I prefer cutting a pattern first, then I will transfer the pattern to my fabric. So I measured 18 inches here because it is a crop top. You can make it longer or shorter depending on your preference. So I added ½ inch at the upper part, that's the shoulder allowance, and 1 inch at the lower part, which is the hemming allowance. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to locate my armhole line. So my armhole is usually 1 inch or 1.5 inch above my bust length, or if you know your perfect armhole, you can just measure that. And please note that for this pattern, the armhole must be small because we are working with a stretchy fabric. So then the next thing to do is to divide your shoulder measurements into two. Then you measure it at the upper part area and also at the armhole area. So what I'm just trying to do here is to draw my armhole line. So I'll divide this into two, then I'll go down by ½ inch, then I'll locate the point. I'll measure my bust measurements divided by 4 at this area. Just so the point here is just to know the armhole area. Then I will connect it using my French curve. So this is my armhole. So the next thing I'll be doing is to measure my bust measurement. So since I've measured this bust measurement, then I'll be adding just ½ inch. This ½ inch is the sewing allowance, but I'll be sewing with 1 inch instead. That is, after sewing, the bust will reduce. It's a stretchy fabric, so you don't have to use your perfect measurement, but I'm just taking my perfect measurement, then I will add ½ inch for the sewing, but I will sew with 1 inch. So I've measured that area over there, which is my waist. So here is my lower waist, and it can't be the same as the waist measurement, so I added 1 inch extra. That is, if your waist was 28, you measure 29 or even 30 at this area. So then I'll connect the points. So this is what it looks like after connecting the points. I hope you understand. So this is my waist, that area is my armhole. So this is what I have. Then the next thing to do now is just to cut out the pattern. So this is the pattern. I'll just go ahead and transfer it to make my back pattern. It's the same thing as the front. So this is the back and that's the front. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to cut out my neckline. Please take note of this neckline because, as you can see from the picture, we'll be adding a taping to the neckline, so you have to be very careful with the cutting. So I measured 3 inches there just to measure my shoulder slope, 3 inches at that area and 1 inch downward at this part. This is just to make my shoulder slope. Then I will cut it out. So now I'll be measuring the neckline for this. So I'm measuring 3.5 inches over here. So I'll be measuring the front and the back on the front. So for the back, it is 1 inch. You just go down by 1 inch. Then for the front, it is 3 inches. Then I'll connect it. I'll connect the front, the back first. Then I'll also do the front neckline. So now the pattern is placed on each other. So I'll cut the back neckline first. You can do this separate if you want to. I'm just doing it together. So that's for the back, and I will cut out the neckline for the front bodies. So this is for the front bodies. So the next thing to do is to draft your sleeve pattern. This sleeve pattern have been drafted in my former video. So what you will just do is that you make it your fitted bicep measurement. At that area, it will be a fitted bicep measurement. So you won't add anything, it has to be fit. So now this is the fabric that I've went ahead to cut out. As you can see, the length is not the same. This is because I'll be putting a band at the waistline. You can make it straight like that, but the fabric I have was not enough, so I just have to put a band instead. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, it still remains some more inches here, but I just added a band at that area instead. If your fabric is enough, just cut it straight instead of adding a band. Please just cut it straight. My fabric was not enough, that's why I did this. So now the next thing I'll be doing is to join this to this, which I'll be doing later. I'll join that to that area, but then I'll go ahead and join the shoulder, the front and the back shoulder. Please note that if you are using a stretchy fabric, some has the front and the back, that is the wrong side and the right side. Please don't mix it up, because this fabric I'm working with has a wrong side and a right side. Please take notes. So this is the sleeve. As you can see, it is not a long sleeve, it's a very short sleeve. You have to measure the length of the sleeve you want, then you add 1 inch after measuring the length, that is 1 inch for the hemming. So I'll be folding it with 1 inch here. I'll show you how it is done very soon. So this is this bodies after joining the shoulder, and I've went ahead to join the band also. So this is what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. So now the next thing I'll be joining to this now is the sleeve. So this is the sleeve after sewing. So I first sew the 1 inch area, then I went down with a 1/4 inch. That is, this is just for the sleeve to have 2 sewing. You know, there are some machine that sews and weave, but I don't have that, so I just want to use my sewing machine to do this on it. So I first sew on the 1 inch line, then I went down by 1/4 inches. And my fabric was not easy to sew on the machine, so I have to use paper to sew this. Some parts were sewing while some refuses to sew, so those parts I just use my paper to sew this. So this is what the sleeve look like. So I'll be joining the sleeve now to the main bodies. I'll be joining it to that part, and I'll also be joining the second one. So after joining the sleeve and joining the side, this is what the top look like. There's some water on this top because I ironed it, and that is why the water is showing. So now you place your top like this, just to notch the midpoint of the front and also the midpoint of the back. Then after notching, you measure. So from my measurement here, I have 9.5 as my neck wideness. That is 9.5 when folded into 2. That's what I have. So I want to use my scissors at this point to notch it, because I forgot to notch it at first. So you just go ahead and notch, just a small notch. Then you notch this part too. So now this is the taping we'll be adding to the neckline, and it is just 2 inches wide, and the length is 8, and this is 8.5 inches. Then the remaining half is for the sewing. You know what we measured at the front was 9.5, and when we multiply 9.5 times 2, that's like 19 inches for the neck wideness of the top. But now I'm measuring 8.5, and 8.5 times 2 is 17. So whatever your neckline is, you just reduce it by 2 for this band. You reduce it by 2. So after reducing it by 2, this is what I have. So after reducing it by 2, this is what I have, and I've joined it, and I've went ahead to hold both sides together. So now I'm notching the midpoint too, so that when I'm joining it to this neckline, it will fit in. And you know this one is smaller than the main top neckline, so you have to stretch it out. That's the main essence, because if you use the same measurement as this, the neckline will just be open, it won't be nice. So you have to make it smaller than the neckline, and it is 2 inches smaller than the main neckline. I hope you get. So this collar is 2 inches smaller than the main neckline. So you pin at any area, you can pin round depending on what you want to do. So this is what I have after sewing. After sewing, please, you have to top stitch at this area. You have to top stitch below the neckline. This is just to make the collar stay well on the bodies. So you just top stitch below it. So this is what I have, and now just put it on, and after putting it on, this is what it looks like. So this is the sleeve I was talking about earlier, and this is the neckline with the top stitching. So this is what it looks like, and it looks really nice. So it is just a crop top t-shirt. So please like this video, comment on this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also share this with your friend. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.